It was a secret mission, one that had been planned for months without the knowledge of the public. Joe, Michael, and William, 3 highly skilled astronauts, had been chosen to go to the backside of the moon to discover the source of a hidden signal NASA had been receiving for the past 6 months. Their mission was to find out where the signal was coming from and what it was. The journey was rough, and the obstacles they faced along the way were many. But they persevered, and after what seemed like an eternity, they finally reached the surface of the moon. As soon as they landed, they jumped into their moon rover and set out to find the source of the signal. William stayed in the lunar module while Joe and Michael went out to investigate. They drove the rover for a few hours, and then they saw something that took their breath away. A large pyramid, covered with moon dust, loomed ahead of them. It showed signs of ancient civilization and was possibly built millions of years ago by the so-called ancient builder race, as they were told in their briefing. As they began to examine the pyramid, they noticed there was no form of entry. However, they saw signs of Egyptian and unknown hieroglyphs. They began to wipe dust off the hieroglyphs to get a better look when suddenly they heard a noise coming from the pyramid. As they began to turn back, they saw a door opening on one corner edge of the pyramid, giving them access to go in. As they walked into the pyramid, they were greeted with a mixture of alien and Egyptian architecture. The astronauts were both scared and amazed by what they saw. They continued to investigate further. They noticed that the unknown signal was coming from the center of the pyramid, a round room where a hologram of the Earth was showing and was projecting some sort of frequency back to Earth. As they got closer and touched some of the symbols projected on what they thought was a computer or control panel, the pyramid began to shake and make loud noises that hurt their ears. They had set off some sort of warning or possible defense mechanism that had caused the pyramid to tremble. And just like that, they lost all communications with Houston, their control station back on Earth. After hours of finding ways to get the communication back up and running, they finally received a signal from Houston. They were told to head back to the lunar module and report their findings. So they gathered their equipment and headed to the lunar module to meet with William. As they turned back, they can see the pyramid was caving in on itself. Once back on Earth, they noticed something was off. The people were acting unnormal, scared and frightened. The commanding officers sat down with each individual astronaut, and they were briefed on the occurrences that happened while they were on the moon. The astronauts had disrupted some sort of hologram or matrix that was keeping all humans on Earth from knowing the truth. The Earth was a matrix, a giant hologram, a lie, and the signal they disrupted had caused the entire matrix to be exposed to all human civilizations across the world. As the astronauts caused the signal to shut down, they believed this signal was blocking all positive frequencies from allowing people to enter a new positive dimension. People were panicking and couldn't figure out how to act. Human civilization had entered a new dimension. As the Matrix was keeping humans asleep and enslaved for centuries, it all got disrupted in days, and human civilization was headed towards a positive future, not as slaves but as free interdimensional beings. Joe, Michael, and William had changed the course of human civilization. They had unlocked the secrets of the universe and had freed humanity from the shackles of the Matrix. The knowledge they had gained was invaluable, and they knew that their discovery would change the course of human history forever. As the news of the disrupted hologram spread across the world, chaos and confusion erupted. People were struggling to come to terms with the fact that their entire reality was a lie. The governments of the world were struggling to maintain control as the people demanded answers. The 3 astronauts, Joe, Michael, and William, were hailed as heroes by some and vilified by others. They were quickly taken into custody by a team of government agents and brought to a secure location for debriefing. They were forced to sign non-disclosure agreements and were told never to speak of their mission again. But the knowledge they had gained was too great to keep hidden. They knew they had to share their findings with the world, even if it meant risking their own safety. The astronauts worked together to create a movement to awaken the rest of the world. It wasn't easy. They faced resistance from those who were afraid of change and wanted to maintain the status quo as well as their religious beliefs. They faced ridicule from those who dismissed their claims as the ramblings of crazy conspiracy theorists. But they persisted. Slowly but surely, the truth began to spread. People started questioning everything they had been taught. They began to see the world in a new light. They realized that they had the power to shape their own reality and create a better future for themselves and for the world. The 3 astronauts became symbols of hope and inspiration. They traveled the world, speaking to crowds of people who wanted to hear their story. They wrote books and gave interviews. They used their newfound fame to push for positive change. And change did come. The old systems that had kept people enslaved and asleep began to crumble. New technologies were developed that allowed people to connect with each other in new and meaningful ways. The world was transformed. Joe, Michael, and William knew that their mission to the backside of the moon had been a turning point in human history. They had stumbled upon a truth that had been hidden for centuries, and they had been brave enough to bring that truth to the world. Their bravery and determination had shattered the illusions of the old world and opened the door to a brighter future. And as they looked up at the stars, they knew that their journey had only just begun. For in the words of Carl Sagan, somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known.